See, I don't need a guy to shoot people up as a racist to know that racism is wrong or white supremacy is wrong, because I have a philosophy it's a fairly complete philosophy of life that actually I can refer to because it makes sense. My philosophy makes sense. It's horrible to be a white supremacist if you're a Christian. If you're a Christian like me, you believe all people are children of God, and what matters about them is how they behave and their ideas. That's what matters. They behave out of the ideas in their heads, and so that's what matters. When I say that I have problems or questions or concerns about Islam, it's questions about those ideas, because I know what ideas do to people. You know, you start out thinking that men and women should be equal, and you then think, well, in order for them to be equal, you have to abort a baby. And in order for you to abort a baby, even if the baby comes out alive, you have to let it die. Ideas lead you down very, very terrible paths. They lead you into evil. That's what they do. And so I have concerns about some of the tenets of Islam, like its insistence that the government has to be a theocracy, essentially, and the fact that you can't translate the Quran. Those are things, and their treatment of women, those are things that I question about. I know that white supremacy is wrong because I believe that all people are children of God and can do good and can contribute and be good people. Why do they think? Why does the left think it's wrong? Why does the left think it's wrong? I mean, we've heard from them, Black Lives Matter, and you should be shouted down if you say all lives matter. So did they believe it's wrong because they're just on the other side? I mean, it's like gays. You say to me, well, gays should have equal rights. And I say yes. And then you say, oh, and if you don't want to celebrate their wedding, your business should be destroyed. And I go, wait, what? What is that? It's, in other words, are you asking for equality, or are you asking that power be transferred from one group to another group, that one group had it unfairly, now another group had it unfairly? That seems to me what the left is constantly doing. The left is constantly basically pretending that they want equality, but what they really want is to transfer unfair power from one group and give it to another group unfairly, as if that's going to somehow balance their guilt problems or the country's guilt problems or whatever it is. I don't know why the left thinks white supremacy is bad, except for the fact that maybe they think only Black Lives Matter. I mean, that's what I think. I know it's bad. I know it's bad. I don't need somebody to kill somebody to know it's bad. I know killing people is bad too, for a lot of the same reasons. I'm wondering what they think, why it is. I'd like to have them on and explain it to me, because it seems to me the left's attitude toward race and toward religion is nonsense. They have no problem with Dianne Feinstein hectoring a judge candidate because she's a Catholic, but they do have a problem if I point out some of the problems in the House of Islam. You know, that is really, really bad news. And, you know, there was this NYU student who attacked Chelsea Clinton. I'm sure you've seen this. This has gone viral. It's an unbelievable piece of tape where she attacks Chelsea Clinton and says she contributed to the rhetoric that inspired this attack because she joined in condemning Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's anti-Semitism. Listen to this, a little bit of this confrontation.
All that you have done and all this Islamophobia that you have stoked.
I'm so sorry. Well, certainly it was never my intention. I do believe words matter. I believe we have to show
They do matter. And this right here is the result of a massacre stoked by people like you and the words that you put out into the world. And I want you to know that, and I want you to feel that deep inside. 49 people died because of the rhetoric that you put out there.
I'm so sorry.
I don't think...
What does "I'm sorry you feel that way" mean? What does that mean?
You know, we have an epidemic in this country of young people who know absolutely nothing and are absolutely sure of their moral stances. It's not just, Alexandria occasional cortex. It's not just Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. It's people like this. That woman knows nothing. That guy who was shouting, the people who are snapping their fingers, they're telling Chelsea Clinton that she somehow has a connection to this New Zealand massacre because she opposed anti-Semitism. Now, when you go and you look at the statistics and you see that I think the rise in anti-Semitic attacks in America was 37% and Muslim attacks dropped 11%. Shouldn't you be rushing your concern to the Jews? I mean, shouldn't you be joining in the attacks on Ilhan Omar and her anti-Semitism? Or shouldn't, if you had a philosophy that made sense, if you condemned all racism of any kind, including affirmative action racism, including positive racism, if you condemned, as I condemn, all treatment of people only according to their race, which I just condemn. I think that's wrong. I think if you're a child of God, you're a child of God. You have the same rights as anyone else. I think that's what America is supposed to be about. If you make no sense, that's what you end up doing. This know-nothing woman and her know-nothing friend, who are 12 years old and haven't seen anything, haven't experienced anything, don't know anything, are yelling at Chelsea Clinton about a shooting in New Zealand. I mean, it's amazing. This is why I loved Nancy Pelosi has come forward to declare that the voting age should be should be 16. Now, I can understand why Democrats would think this. Here's Nancy Pelosi.
I myself, personally, I'm not speaking for my caucus, I myself have always been for lowering the voting age to 16. I think it's really important to capture kids when they're in high school, when they're interested in all of this, when they're learning about government, to be able to vote. That is not necessary. In other words, some of the priorities in this bill are about transparency and openness and accessibility and the rest. That's a subject of debate. But my view is that I would welcome that. But I've been in that position for a long time.
That's what we need, is people who know less. We know, as I always say, youth and ignorance are synonyms. We need people who know less to vote. Why would the Democrats want that? That's a chin scratcher. Why would Democrats want people who know nothing to be able to vote? It's a tough one to figure out. This is how we get Beto O'Rourke. I'm watching this guy. I mean, in his first day as a candidate, one of the 700 candidates, Democrat candidates for president, he raises $6 million, which is more than anybody else, the other candidates. And I'm watching this guy, and it's like, I don't even know what he believes. I don't know what he stands for. He stands for tearing down walls that are there already. He thinks, there shouldn't be any border patrol. I do not know what the guy stands for. His first day out, he goes out there and he's already he starts out apologizing for being white. Here he is apologizing to Chuck Todd for being white.
I would never begin by saying I'm at any disadvantage at all. As a white man who has had privileges that others could not depend on or take for granted, I've clearly had advantages over the course of my life. I think recognizing that and understanding that others have not, doing everything I can to ensure that there is opportunity and the possibility for advancement and advantage for everyone is a big part of this campaign and a big part of the people who comprise this campaign. I just think that this is the best field that we've ever seen in the nominating process. Yeah. I think the diversity of background and experience, expertise that is going to be brought to bear on these problems is exceptional. And I know at the end of the day, we're all going to be on the same team. And I'm excited about that.
So he's personally apologizes for his privilege. Then a Reuters reporter, I love this, a Reuters reporter reveals that he belonged to an influential hacking group calling itself the Cult of the Dead Cow. And he's bragging, the Reuters reporter is bragging Reuters is bragging that they got this scoop back in late 2017, but they didn't reveal it until the election between O'Rourke and Ted Cruz was over. They sat on the story. So they're protecting this guy. He's a kind of a second-rate Obama politician. They think he's electable, so they just love him. He inspires that passion for human beings, for princes that that the left has. So then he goes out and he makes a joke about how his wife, Amy, raised their 3 kids, sometimes with my help. And oh my goodness, the feminists, they went nuts. And so now he has to apologize for that, right? And he says, not only will I not say that again, but I'll be more thoughtful going forward in the way I talk about our marriage, and also the way in which I acknowledge the truth of the criticism that I have enjoyed white privilege. I mean, I cannot vomit enough to express how I feel about that comment. I mean, one of the reasons, so help me, this is reason alone to vote for Donald Trump, is because he doesn't do this. He doesn't apologize. I mean, I know sometimes he's a bore. I know sometimes he says insensitive things. Even that Charlottesville thing he was saying, it was an insensitive moment because a woman had been killed by white supremacists. He shouldn't have said it maybe in that moment. But just the fact that he doesn't apologize is so much better than these guys. It's like, it's all eggshells and apologies. Eggshells and apologies. And it's all fake, because you have Ilhan Omar saying, I apologize, but I still say what I said. But I apologize for the way you feel about what I said. I apologize that you feel the way I said, that what I said made you feel something that you shouldn't have felt when I said it, because I'm still saying it. It doesn't mean anything. It's all nonsense, and it's just a way of placating this outrage mob that is everywhere. And I have to tell you, there was a story, there's a movie coming out on Netflix called Triple Frontier, and Charlie Hunnam, the actor, is that how you pronounce that? I think that's how you pronounce it, Charlie Hunnam. The actor went out and he was giving interviews, and he said how he liked Jordan Peterson. He was talking about Jordan Peterson. And, the press was, Twitter and Yahoo News, the celebrity news people, they went after him because of evil. And I just love this. They said he went after Jordan Peterson because Peterson didn't want the university where he was a professor to adopt the use of gender-neutral pronouns. I mean, this is the problems that we have in this country. Meanwhile, President Trump went after Saturday Night Live, and he said, and they've accused him of threatening to have a federal investigation of Saturday Night Live. This is what he said. All right, Trump said, "It's truly incredible that shows like Saturday Night Live, not funny, no talent, can spend all of their time knocking the same person, me, over and over without so much of a mention of the other side, like an advertisement without consequences. Same with late night shows." He was reacting to an old show they were playing. It was a rerun. Should the Federal Election Commission and/or FCC look into this? There must be collusion with the Democrats and, of course, Russia. Such one-sided media coverage, most of it fake news. Hard to believe I won and am winning. I mean, obviously clowning around, and this became a big deal. Oh, he's threatening to censor, to investigate Saturday Night Live. It's unbelievable. I have to close with just a funny story. I'm going to teach at Hillsdale for a couple of weeks at the end of the month, at the beginning of next month. And I'm teaching a class in culture and how to cover the culture as a journalist. This is for their journalism department. And I wanted to talk about the way that superhero movies have become a bone of contention now. People argue politically over superhero movies. And I was thinking, when did this begin? And I thought, oh yeah, it began with me. It began when I wrote a piece for the Wall Street Journal about The Dark Knight and how The Dark Knight was a tribute to George W. Bush, which it quite obviously, now looking back, quite obviously was. And it started a firestorm. But of course, I was paying attention to it in the sense that I was getting a lot of emails about it, and it was helping to sell my book, Empire of Lies, which I was happy about. But I wasn't paying attention to what the left was saying about me, because I never do. So I'm preparing this class, and I'm thinking I ought to get some examples of how the left reacted to this, so I can just talk about it. And I came upon this clip of Keith Olbermann. I do not know if people actually remember Keith Olbermann. He was this dopey sports writer who became a dopey, absurd political commentator. And here he is attacking me. This is back, when was that? 2008. Here he is attacking me. I've never seen this before. And I just love this. This is Keith Olbermann attacking me for saying that Batman and George Bush were related.
First time for Countdown's Worst Persons in the World. The bronze to Rupert Murdoch, who actually had this printed in his Wall Street Journal today. This is the review of the new Batman film, The Dark Knight, by a conservative mystery writer. Joseph Klavan wrote this, but I'll read it as Murdoch because I want to. There seems to be no question that the Batman film, The Dark Knight, currently breaking every box office record in history. Arr.
So not only does he get my name wrong, but he won't even, he calls Rupert Murdoch the worst person in the world instead of me. He was as if Rupert Murdoch had anything to do with it. I mean, I didn't deal with Rupert Murdoch. He didn't inspire the article. But the only thing that got me about this is the night that this happened, John Nolte came over my house for dinner, and he walked in with this worried look on his face, and he said, "How does it feel to be attacked so savagely?" And I said, Am I being attacked? And I was absolutely honest. I had no idea that the left was going after me at this degree. And as I saw this, I thought, it's probably something about me that here it is 11 years later, and I've never seen any of these things. I never, like when Nolte left, I didn't then go to run to my computer to see what they were saying, because I have so little respect for these people. I have so little respect for people who could see an actual tragedy or an actual atrocity take place, in the antipodes around the world, and blame it on the President of the United States, and that they call themselves mainstream newsmen. That's corruption. That's intellectual corruption, philosophical corruption, and I don't think any of us, I think Trump is right about this, none of us should give a rat's what they say about us or what they say about the news, because that really is it's a level of corruption so deep that it's become despicable.